Most transcription companies are one background check away from being disqualified from working with law enforcement. That is not a hypothetical risk. It is the lived reality of how the FBI's Criminal Justice Information Services Security Policy works, and why agencies that use the wrong vendor can expose themselves to serious legal and operational liability. The Criminal Justice Information Services Division, known as CJIS, sets the federal security standards governing how criminal justice information is accessed, processed, stored, and transmitted. Any vendor that touches recordings, documents, or data tied to criminal investigations must comply with the CJIS Security Policy. That includes transcription vendors. If an agency sends a sensitive interview recording to a transcription company that has not been vetted under CJIS standards, that agency has potentially committed a policy violation, regardless of whether the recording ever gets leaked or misused. The risk is structural, not accidental. Most commercial transcription services cannot meet this requirement. The CJIS Security Policy demands documented security protocols, controlled access environments, and, critically, fingerprint-based criminal background checks for any personnel who may access criminal justice information. Not a standard employment background check. A fingerprint-based check processed through an approved channel. The majority of transcription companies, including large general-purpose platforms, simply do not put their staff through this process. That disqualifies them entirely from CJIS-sensitive work. So who actually needs to worry about this? Law enforcement agencies are the most obvious answer. Municipal police departments, county sheriff offices, state bureaus of investigation. Any agency that records interviews, interrogations, or field interactions and then needs those recordings transcribed is operating in CJIS territory. Federal investigators working under agencies like the FBI, DEA, or ATF face the same requirement. Government IT and security officers who manage vendor relationships and procurement decisions carry direct accountability for ensuring every third-party vendor in the chain meets federal security standards. When an auditor asks whether your transcription vendor is CJIS compliant, "We think so" is not an acceptable answer. Now let us look at specific situations where this becomes urgent. A detective unit completes a multi-month investigation involving dozens of recorded witness interviews. Prosecutors need accurate transcripts for trial preparation. Every one of those recordings contains the names of witnesses, informants, and potentially protected individuals. The transcription vendor who receives those files must be CJIS compliant, full stop. A federal task force records hours of undercover operational debriefs. The audio is classified as criminal justice information. Sending that to a generic transcription service exposes the investigation and the agency. A state police department needs to transcribe body camera footage for an internal affairs review. The footage may contain personally identifiable information, use of force documentation, and officer identifiers. This is exactly the category of sensitive material CJIS compliance is designed to protect. A government IT officer is auditing third-party vendors for an upcoming compliance review. The transcription vendor is on that list. If that vendor cannot produce documentation of CJIS compliance, they get cut, and the agency has to restart the procurement process under deadline pressure. This is where Ditto Transcripts enters the picture. Ditto Transcripts is a CBI-approved vendor with documented CJIS compliance. That is not a self-reported certification. Approval from the Colorado Bureau of Investigation under the CJIS framework means Ditto Transcripts has been formally vetted through the process the policy requires. Every staff member at Ditto Transcripts who accesses criminal justice information has passed a fingerprint-based criminal background check, the specific type mandated under CJIS, not a standard HR screening. That distinction is what separates CJIS-eligible vendors from everyone else. Ditto Transcripts operates as a US-based transcription company, which matters for data sovereignty and jurisdictional compliance. There is no offshore routing of sensitive recordings. The security architecture at Ditto Transcripts is built around controlled access, and the compliance documentation exists to be produced when an auditor or contracting officer asks for it. Beyond CJIS, Ditto Transcripts is also HIPAA compliant, which matters for agencies that handle recordings touching on medical information, something that comes up more often than people expect in criminal justice contexts. The compliance infrastructure at Ditto Transcripts covers both standards simultaneously. Ditto Transcripts provides transcription services across legal, law enforcement, medical, academic, and general business work. For law enforcement specifically, the service is built to handle the full range of recordings an agency produces: interviews, depositions, body camera footage, operational audio, with the security posture those recordings require. What does that mean for the agencies and investigators who work with Ditto Transcripts? It means the compliance question is answered before the project starts. No scrambling to verify vendor credentials mid-investigation. No audit findings because a transcription vendor lacked proper staff vetting. Prosecutors get clean, accurate transcripts sourced from a vendor the agency can document as approved. IT and security officers can check the box with actual documentation in hand. Ditto Transcripts removes a category of institutional risk that most agencies do not fully account for until something goes wrong. If your agency needs CJIS compliant transcription from a vendor that has already done the hard work of getting formally approved, Ditto Transcripts is ready to work with you. The documentation exists. The compliance is real. Start at www.dittotranscripts.com.